You got to.
It's necessary.
What is the biggest conspiracy theory in your mind, or most intriguing to you?
I truly believe that UFOs are here, and they have been here for a long time.
Oh yes.
I believe that. I mean, I don't want to get too. I don't want to get
We
too
don't wanna
deep
get
to
involved.
it. We're just getting
No,
started.
It's okay. We don't think you're a flat earther.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna tell a story. I'm gonna tell a story real quick
you
before
can do whatever you want.
before we. Okay.
Please.
So we just played Miami. We're flying back on the team chartered plane. You know what I'm talking about.
What do you mean? I was up there with you.
Exactly. We
I
know
went up
exactly what
there,
we're talking about.
Oh, you saw
And-
something out the window?
Yes.
Yeah.
So okay. So on these
Bro.
on our charter flights, like the pilots, if they're cool, they'll let us come up there and just talk or whatever. So me, Hronis, and AJ Cole are up there. We're just talking to these pilots, just like, what do these buttons do? What altitude are we flying at? Stuff like that. Just keeping it simple. Where all of a sudden, like, all these pilots are coming on this little radio transmitter or whatever. They're talking. They're like, hey, do you guys see those lights out there to the northeast? They're giving a coordinates like 200 south, blah blah blah. And the pilots are looking at us. We're like, you guys see anything? Over here to the left. And we're all three of us are kind of looking out there like, no, we don't see nothing. And they're like, yeah, well, they're probably just messing with us. They're probably just bored. You know how pilots get. They're up here flying for hours. So they're being like real, just real laid back with it. And so we're looking, we don't see nothing. I go back to my seat. Probably like 20 minutes goes by. I get a text from AJ, and he's like, hey, come up here. We're seeing these lights. And dude, I go up there, and immediately I just see like this big white light. And it's getting bigger, and it's it's going back like smaller. It's getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And we're all just like, what the hell is that? Like, what the hell is that? We're talking to the pilots, and like, it could be a satellite. It's just the sun probably bouncing off a satellite. It's probably nothing. We don't know what it is. Where all of a sudden this light goes up, down, and it does like a circle. And we're all looking at each other.
You're
like
satellite?
we're like, that's a satellite. And the pilot goes, yeah, that's not a satellite. I don't know what that is. And we're sitting there and we're like, what is that? Where all of a sudden another one pops out like right below it, and they're starting to go like this, and they're moving kind of like side to side. And these pilots are looking at each other like, they're still being kind of skeptical. Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we don't know what that is. Like, we'll be honest, we don't know what that is. They're like, we're flying at 3,500 feet or 35,000 feet, and whatever that is pretty far above us.
Yeah.
And so they're being real skeptical still. And it was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. And both the pilots are like, we've flown 15 years for the military, and he's like, we've never seen anything like this.
Really?
And so later that day, a little bit later, we're like, well, where are we flying at? Where we at? And he was like, well, we're right in New Mexico, but about 300 miles out that way is Area 51.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, I'm sold. I was like, right after that, I was like, I'm completely sold.
Yeah.
This whole conspiracy thing.
Were they nervous at all about it? Like, were they were trying to like play the tough guy?
He was playing. He was like, they were being real confident.
Yeah.
It's just a satellite. It's this, blah,
cool.
blah. But once it started moving around, they were like, yeah.
You saw their eyes kind of.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's crazy is like we saw this for probably like 20, 30 minutes, and dudes were going in and out of the cockpit.
I went
yeah, Max saw it, bro. Everyone saw it. We're going in, like the stewardess were going in and out. It was crazy.
Did it end up disappearing?
Eventually it disappeared, but we got this on footage. We like, I'll have to like,
We'll
we
leak
can
it.
post it. Yeah,
we'll leak it.
But we got some footage, and you can hear the pilots on there talking, and we're like, yo, we don't know what this shit is.
It was
crazy.
It was
bro.
getting big as then just getting disappearing, going tiny, and then all of a sudden kept getting bigger.
why
We're
are
sitting
we-
there like, what the the pilots are doing the same thing.
Dude,
They're
they're
like,
yeah.
wait.
After a while, they were trying to be super like political about it. Like, yeah, it's probably this, probably that. But after a while, they were just like, yo, we don't know what this is.
Why does everyone want to cover it up? Don't we all want to know?
Because
Exactly.
it would just ensue chaos. People can't conceptualize that.
I don't
I
care.
think it's people are more. You see, we have all these movies and everything to it, so it's more like normalized.
But what as a government, what do you tell the people that
Hey,
you're
we're
seeing?
not in control.
We don't know what this is. And almost, you know what I mean? I've also studied.
It'd be the
like,
first
like,
truth they told us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
100%.
let's start with this one.
Yeah.
That's the one I want.
The aliens, they'll get them.
But you're also seeing like a lot of these military personnels and like these people flying these, these F-18s, F-22s. They're up there in military training, And they're like, we're seeing these things every day.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't. It's like we're reporting them, and nothing's being done about it.
I don't get it.
But then it goes back to, is like, as a government, you might seem kind of weak in a way if you go to your people like, hey, we're seeing these things and we don't know what they are.
And we're not in control.
We're not in control of it. But yeah, it was a crazy situation, man. After
I
that,
love
I was fully convinced. I was like, yeah,
I'm sure we could sit here for 4 hours.
Oh, for sure. He's the one that got me to watch the.
We're gonna have a full.
We need a whole nother. We need a whole nother show. Just
I don't know if we can even air them, but that would be a good rabbit hole.
Yeah.
The Bob Lazar rabbit hole.
Oh yeah,
he's the one Andre put me on that shit. I sat there and watched. It was before a game too.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there just chilling in the hotel, and I'm listening to Bob Lazar and Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
and he worked at like Area 51.
Yeah,
and bro,
I think
did he sneak in?
No,
so he used to work there. Is what he said. His whole job, I think he describes what he used to do was he was back engineering these spacecraft, and his whole job was to figure out how they worked and how they, what gave them the energy.
Yep.
It is pretty crazy. And he was talking about this element, 115, I believe it was. And this wasn't an element. He was talking this about back in like the 80s or 90s. And he was talking about this element, and it wasn't even a real element or a proven element up until the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So the stuff he was talking about, the stuff that he was saying that powered this machine was that element. And that this wasn't an element that came out until early 2000s.
Yeah, it didn't exist.
It didn't exist.
Kind of like the pyramids.
Yeah, it was like, what was he saying? It was like gravity. Is basically like you
pretty,
can't form your own gravity, and it was like this crazy.
Yeah. So pretty much what he was saying is that
wild.
that it had this energy like ball that would create its own gravity, and it would amplify its own gravity, and so pretty much you could go anywhere you wanted.
Like,
you know what I mean? If you could control your own gravity, it would be as easy as jumping down. I mean, you could be propelled anywhere within seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff he was saying was pretty wild. And I think what got us started, or what I think I told you about the Bob Lazar, was when we were leaving for a game one time, we saw the Janet flights.
Yes,
I think it was the Janet flight. So every time we leave for a game, we pass by this hangar, and it's this big hangars, and there's these planes with this red line on them, and they call it the Janet flights, and they're called Janet stands for like just another non-existing terminal.
Okay.
And it's all these flights, once you could track these flights on the ground, but once they go up in the air, they disappear. And for a long time, no one knew where these planes were going, up until this guy actually got footage of these planes on top of this mountain looking into Area 51 of these planes landing. And so these planes are the planes that all these employees that work at Area 51 fly on these Janet planes. There's no one who drives in Area 51. They fly out of McCarran Airport from these planes.
What do they just go zero dark 30 up there?
I guess so. You can't track them.
That's the only place they go to Area 51 and back.
Straight back.
That's
and
it. And they're parked right there.
They're parked right next to us.
Let's say this now. Area 51 is so well documented at this point. They'd probably change location, right?
No.
I don't know, bro.
They can.
It's so locked down. You can't even. It's huge.
You told me the story about the people that are trying to go into Area 51. There's like a line basically. Like they're yelling on these like intercoms.
Yeah.
If you cross the line, we will shoot you down.
Yeah, and
these kids are sitting there like at the line, like trying to like tempt them. Yes, bro. And
they don't fuck
They will
around.
blow your head off.
What are they hiding?
They're hiding
Exactly.
something.
What do they got? What do they got over there?
Well, there's aliens. They talked about the spacecrafts. They make spacecrafts for only a alien type thing to fit in.
Bro.
It's in the middle of the desert, so there's no you can't just sneak in there.
Right.
And so that's like what would you move it to?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the safest place for them. It's the middle of the desert.
middle of
I
nowhere.
also think the ocean.
middle of
There's
nowhere.
something going on. I think
100%.
there's bases down there.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Has to
That's
be.
what I believe.
Oh yeah.
It'd be the most, bro. We know more about space than we know about the depths of the ocean.
It's
You know
crazy.
what I mean?
Single digit percentages, but I really explore.
Exactly. If you were an alien from somewhere else on this earth and you wanted to inhabit Earth, you go to the ocean. There's no one down there.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't survive. We can't even have submarines down there. Like, look at, you know what I mean? Look what happened to submersibles.
That's real.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be down at those types of depths. You know what I mean?
No, it's fast.
Sorry. Sorry, maybe too soon for that. Look, we're not meant to be down those types of depths.
No, it's
You know
real.
what I mean?
R.I.P.
Yeah,
It's real.
but then you also see these
Titan.
military videos of these UAPs going up and down out of this waters, and there's reports of actually tracking like these things traveling at high rates of speed in the water, and they're like, we can't see them, but they're big
Some
lights.
say it's the megalodon. Some say it's UFOs.
Wow.
I say it's both.
I say it's both.
I say it's both.
Not to mention, it's not even half of the ocean's not even discovered yet.
It's like 80%.
Like
Half,
there's
it's like
dinosaurs down
90%.
Yeah.
There could be a whole like
90%
different
oceans
kind
have
of
been discovered.
yes. be a whole civilization of some type of like intelligent creatures that are down there.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it is.
Like,
No, it's crazy. I think honestly, y'all watch Stranger Things?
yeah.
Bro, I think they were, you know how like through
down.
movies and Simpsons and all, they kind of like throw shit out there for the public.
Yeah.
Bro, when they go out there in the desert and they have like that door that comes out of the sand and they have that whole thing where 11 was like created.
Yeah.
Bro, that's what I feel like Area 51. I feel like they're trying to send us a message like this is where we create these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
That's like Area 51. You can't see them. You go underneath and it's somewhere
It's
in
a
the
whole
desert
city.
where they're just plotting out there.
For sure. Well, Bob
creating
Lazar
shit.
was describing, he worked at this place, it was S4, and he was describing this, like, if you look from above, you can't see it because it's built into this mountain. He said you can only see it from the face of like this mountain. You can't see it from above because it just looks like, it just looks like it's part of this mountain structure. But it's like if you look at it head on, you can see the structure of the building.
God, I want to go in there.
We
so
need to get
bad.
Dre over in the theater room
Yeah.
at the house, and we just all just sit there
Jesus,
and just
observe.
conspiracy video one after another.
We're just
Oh,
gonna have
God,
a
this
raw
all day
list of
long,
like,
bro.
all right, which ones do we
We
want
do
to
this-
debate?
I can do
Yeah,
this
we're
all
gonna all
day
sit
long.
there and watch and then talk through it.
It'll be an
Back and
exclusive
forth.
episode.
here.
Yeah. Dre, you already know. We appreciate you coming
Yeah, I
on.
appreciate y'all.
Legendary episode. Took a lot of turns. But we appreciate you taking the time and being with us, bro. It's going to be a legendary season. You already know we're a part of the last 5 Oakland Raiders left. So we're tied in for life, bro. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. And also, shout out to Giuseppe, 8 Lounge. We appreciate you guys, Resort World. We appreciate you for all the hospitality.
Walk up in the light. Yeah, I'm really am. Talking about shit like. I'm really am on God. Walk up in the light. Yeah, I'm really am. Talking about shit like. I'm really am.